to record. It was a problem to you.
Oh yes, that problem is behind us. It's behind. I'm a technical man now. Okay, because but what we the three of us, because now we have established this threesome of the coordinator, of the admin, of
It's
the
solved. The problem is
support.
solved. You can now record in a very easy way.
Yeah. Because but this is for home use. This is only for the three of us.
Yeah.
We have to be able to express ourselves freely. So anyway, anyway, uh, bu- 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 yeah. Then I took the course to. I was saying to you, for so Minever can hear it when she sees this video. That really the vehicle for global change is the internet, and in that cyber, in that virtual space, all the plans, whether for destroying destroying the planet or humanizing the planet, will happen. Because nobody
Mhm.
can travel everywhere, and that's it. That's the end of that story. We have passed that stage. Oh, so the African Humanist Forum is this vehicle we are uh, forming as to build our uh, environment for presenting our message of the universal human nation, and we are emphasizing how this cannot happen by any one organizations in the world. It will happen through the united endeavor of of the whole organized the whole organized humanity, because humanity uh, uh, humanity organizes uh, through well through political or governance, according to politics, and also it is moved on through NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Okay, so we need to find a way in which to unite everyone, all the forces towards this common goal and the common need of making this earth, or the endeavor at least, is to make this world ongoing habitable for those the life that existed, and the life system, and the human creativity that we need. Uh, so coming to that, uh, in different regions, and the humanist movement is, of course, one global movement, but of course, this happens in some go in this way about uh, moving towards this World Humanist Forum, and others do it differently. But in the case of Antonio, because Antonio, me and Ragnar, in the case of Antonio, to begin there, he is one of those members of the worldwide humanist movement that has this, know, unique history of having been there from the day one. He is from Chile, and he is from Chile, Santiago, that is just across the mountain, the Andes Mountains, from Argentina, where where Silo was born in Mendoza, and he was there in Punta de Vargas in the one of the humanist parks for study and reflection. They are called, and there is the school of the movement where of the humanist movement and the message, where people go more deeply into the message of Silo, and like I am connected to a school that is in France, and I am a master of one of 150 masters of that school. So there's multiple. It's very grassroots thing, of that. But it so happened that Antonio's idea was very. We had absolutely the same idea of the way in which to proceed in this on this road towards a World Humanist Forum, and that is that this emphasis that we need to move parallel as Siloist humanist movement, that we need to move parallel with the most wide network of the NGOs, of the organizations, because of from the simple reason that no one organization or political party or individual will change the world. It will only happen with the unison of tens, hundreds, thousands, millions, and even milliards of NGOs that move in the same direction. All this, according to Silo's like very basic his what's it called, his what he said, that eventually he was thinking, I wonder when humankind will have the maturity to understand that there will be no development unless it comes from all and it is for all. So really, and he said also, our vision of a universal human nation without violence and discrimination and all these things will rise from the neighborhoods, And that is a very logical way of thinking, because where do we live? That is no lofty thing, Wherever you live on the planet, in Asia, Iceland, Timbuktu, you live in a neighborhood. That is where you wake up and you have your, thoughts and feelings, and you fall in love, and you get some work, and you go this way or the other. But that is where we live, in the neighborhoods. So coming to our task now, as I see it, like in Africa, we need to start to learn how, in what way will we work in the neighborhoods, so as to create this condition where we coherently, consciously work towards this what's it called, this element of the eventual of the World Humanist Forum. How do we work in the base of where from our destiny arises, So and like now, talk about Iceland. That when we knew about the humanist movement, and in these days even there was the humanist movement was working under the title of the community, which now is the one of five organisms of the humanist movement. So we worked with the community, and the community is an organism that is like uniting human beings in the community, you know. And in the beginning, from the very beginning, Sheila was proposing this form of work, that we need to have teams of those who decide that they want to commit themselves to this task of humanize the earth, because that is one of the things on the way, that in 1981, then there was a worldwide trip to many countries, including Iceland, India, like some 10 countries, and that was to present the humanist movement under this slogan, humanize the earth, you know. And in the beginning, everything was about humanizing. So, so it was humanize the earth. So in Iceland, we want to humanize Iceland, you know. We want to humanize Reykjavik. We want to humanize our neighborhood, because we want to humanize the earth. You know? So it's very nice to remember this. And then, in order to, you know, we needed to do it somehow. So those who wanted to work in this humanizing process, we start from the base. And starting from base is that you have the base councils, and those base councils, we called it at that time, were the members of the base councils were active members of those base councils, you know. And so the participants in the team, and they were supposed to be at that time 10. If I want to build my team council, I needed to, you know, I maybe was started in one such base council, and as an active member, a group delegate, we call it group delegate. But then the idea was to grow, to have more and more such councils. So one day I wanted to form my own, you know, council with my friends and neighbors or whatever, so I could go from the team to be a team delegate, you know, because team delegate was one of the three functions of those base councils. And the three functions had definitions. The team delegate was kind of a orienter of the team, because this person knew more than the others, because he was the founder of this 10 members council, and the definition of the team delegate was to be responsible for growth. How can we grow more? And also the direction, you know, and direction, and also delegate in the council rising, like a regional councils, the wider network of of councils, and then the function of administrative and the function of support. The administrative, as I said in my informal talk, is one that takes care of the like this bureaucracy of minding that those who want to be active members, that they register as members, because they need to register, because this is not a nameless mass, so everyone has to register, and and also the thing of making materials and such things, paper side of the development is of course very important, and then the support. The support was like Miniver was for all the years we were building the movement in Zambia. She was my support, and support takes care of the personal development. So, and also has in mind, to bring good spirit to the team, and also takes care of doing the internal work in the group, because all the groups were because the groups had weekly meetings, and the weekly meetings were 1 hour, half an hour for starting with internal work. I don't well, at least we started with guided experiences. That was very much the theme. But later on, of course, we worked with like the ceremony of service and well-being and so on. But the guided experiences were very much the key things, and so the first half of the hour was for internal work, and then the in latter part of the meeting was about planning. So we the team delegate had responsibility to know where we were going, know that we wanted to grow, and all that, because the team delegate was in contact with the next level to know more about what we want to accomplish and so on. So the second half was where team delegate led the meeting. Like, I'm the team delegate in our African forum, and then of course supported. Everyone took part for their side. Like, so how is the how is it going with how many members have registered, and the admin had the information, and the admin would also, when we had the, we always did an evaluation of our work from last week's work, and what did we accomplish, and then we planned what will be our activities for the next week. So this is the rhythm of the work. So in fact, what matters as a very crude initial emphasis is this building those the base groups, and start to move in the rhythm of weekly meetings, minding the personal work, minding what is our goal, and how we can grow, and And I remember that this was for some years where Sheila was, endlessly, explaining, how we can how we can go. In Iceland, we went door to door. We went to the streets, and we had into the leaflets, and we said we are building this humanist movement, want to humanize the earth, and all that. So this also this is a very reasonable and logical thing that if you want to present something that okay, we are now starting to organize in our neighborhood to humanize the neighborhood. What does it mean? To end violence and work against violence and discrimination, and help each other, but we need to do it ourselves, because who will actually and eventually humanize the earth? That that is the people that live on the planet, and they need to organize, and they need to organize as humanists, because even though humanists, not anymore that other organization will alone uh, change the world, but the humanists have this mission of networking, of joining those like-minded forces towards this goal, and eventually those who move this mission or vision is us, all those who are living there, because there will be no development, and unless it comes from all and is for all. And incidentally, it was so nice that when Miniver held her first local small-scale forum in Linda, where she lives, and got the local school, availed the venue, and then they decorated the walls and so on, and that can be something from our work. And on one side was an old banner from the the first world march for peace and non-violence that reached all over the world, and in Zambia they took part as well, with the help from Mozambique, I think. So it was a banner like that. But then there was another banner that was from the old days. And this was a banner who said, there will be no development unless it comes from all and is for all. So this launching of a new way of organizing with this, with this, in the way that will facilitate the humanizing process, coming from all and for all. Uh, that is the new way of conscious organizing that we want to develop, and this is a very exciting project. How does this? Do you have questions regarding this? Do you have questions? Something that is this clear? You get it?
Yeah, I understand you. That was a brief background of the Humanist Forum, where it came from, and currently, and where it is going. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
understand you are backing most of your argument with the silos philosophy of
Mhm.
the Humanist Forum. And I understand
Yes.
you said it is you, Ragnar, and Antonio who are the founder of the Humanist Forum, and is that Antonio. Antonio
The
comes from
African,
child.
The
Yeah,
African Human Forum.
the Africa Humanist Forum, and Antonio is coming from child, just across where Silo was coming from. So the
Yes, yes,
philosophy behind the African Humanist Forum generates more around his philosophy on the issues on how to address violence and discrimination, revolving around young people, revolving around human being. And I understand
yes,
you say you gave the genesis of the word human, as it has been derived from humanist. Human is just to care for your fellow human or fellow brother,
yeah, yeah.
and how to work together to bring this into life. So I understood how it started and where it's going. And so as
Yes, yes.
the component of the performing arts and theater that we do can also be used mostly in the to address the issues of human in the humanist forum. So I want us, with your permission, you, Antonio, and Ragnar, if you
Mm.
can capitalize on the use of performing arts the way we do,
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
incorporated to be incorporated in the humanist forum, so that we have a more lively humanist forum where people can easily understand, because you understand, performing arts is a tool that is being embraced by everybody. It doesn't have borders, it doesn't have religion, it doesn't have
Yeah, yeah,
tribe.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is being identified globally, so depending on the culture. So that is my input, and that is my take on how to go about it.
No, this is you are understanding this very wisely, and
Yeah,
you very correctly talk about the key. Well, one of the well, there are of course many ways in which to distribute and explain this idea and work with those themes, but at least I can say that when Silo made one like a basic, uh, he designed one basic seminar uh, that was about non-violence, you know,
yeah,
and this was recommended to do everywhere in all the base work of the humanist movement. And in
yeah,
Zambia, we did this, uh, and also in Iceland. This was like a first basic seminar you need to go to understand about really what the humanist movement is all about, because it is most of all, if in one word, for non-violence, a world without violence. And
yeah.
then in that seminar, uh, there
Mm,
is a procedure where you start to explain about violence, and how the violence is not personal. It comes from your conditions, and you are born into a violent system, and there is a very interesting story, very simple, that is told in this seminar about Johnny and the cat. And the story
about
is that
the story about
Johnny and the cat.
Johnny, or the jackal and
Uh,
the cat. Johnny, spelling.
Johnny, a little guy, little boy, Johnny and the
A little
cat,
boy.
and it is about why is why is Johnny always kicking the cat? You know, so
Johnny,
that,
Johnny is too violent to the cat, so he's
yeah,
always
yeah, yeah,
kicking the cat
yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah. And then this,
Yeah,
then the story is told, and it
yeah,
is, and it's the sequence is the following: that
yeah.
this little Johnny, his father is working, and is working in some workplace, and he has a very
Mm,
bad like work the leader, what you call the boss, yeah, very very hard boss, and he is always pushing him around, and and his father comes towards home, just very upset and very tired, and he starts to shout at his wife, and this and that, and scold her, and then his wife starts to scold Johnny for this or that, no, scolding him, and then
mm.
the last part is where Johnny kicks the cat. He is the lowest. He kicks the cat. So
Uh,
everybody was very worried about this habit of Johnny. Why is he kicking the cat like this? The poor cat. So so it is about how violence is not personal. It is really communal. It is really part of a violent society. So and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
coming to the yeah, and coming also to another point that then
But is there a meaning where violence can also be violence can it also be like
yes,
emotional
of course, because
violence?
like anger is emotion,
Mm,
you know.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
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 yeah.
emotional violence. And what about emotional torture, where somebody keeps on talking about something
Yes, yes,
that gives you emotional torture? Maybe is saying something to bring some sense to your head that highlight some violence that is supposed to be coming to you, but maybe you don't understand, and then later you realize that this something that this guy was saying was going to bring some violence to me. Is it
yes.
also can also yeah, yeah.
Yeah, absolute, absolute. And so the
Mm,
virus is like a chain, always some chain of violence, and it comes
okay.
from inside of us, and in the human being, it comes in uh, the violent emotions. Even people that even I kill my girlfriend because she was not faithful for me. It's like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
serious for yeah, it's serious. And
Mm,
then after this explanation, people go to work groups, to with a question. So how can you recognize? Do you recognize in your own life this violence, and how does it appear? Talk about your experience of the violence you experience yourself, you know, and you do one by one does this, and then in the groups, uh, when you have told of your violence, yes, my wife is like this, and or whatever it is. Or my older brothers, I hate him,
mhm.
so
So
and
violence can also come in the family sibling
yeah,
circle,
yeah, 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 yeah,
where
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
where,
yeah,
where
yeah,
where
yeah.
where you always find that there are some in the family, there are some that they always just fight. They don't rhyme with each other. They always have violence. Every
Yes,
time and then they always
yes, yeah. And the
have,
siblings don't only kick the cat, but
yeah.
they they break cups
They
they
break
do things.
glasses. They break the
Yeah,
tables.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So after this round, of
yeah,
sharing experience, uh, the other group members that see this person, and they try to help this person. So why, if they give advice, okay? That is
yeah,
another task in this group work. And then this group also, as a final product, they are they are asked to do a sketch. They are asked to
yeah,
do a sketch. They are asked to make a theatrical sketch in which to when everyone comes in the bigger room, all the groups come there. There is a show of actors. If there were five groups or three groups, three theatrical, you know, actors will act their experience of violence and their endeavor how we can overcome it. So the
yeah. I understand.
theatrical expression is CeeLo made it really a central way in us in which to
Huh?
transmit,
Very well.
to transmit the message. So in our process, are you ready? No, no.
Partners was calling. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry. That was
okay, sorry.
he wants us to.
Okay.
He wants us. That was one of our partner who was calling. He wants us to write a proposal together.
Yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
see. So, anyway, what we will need to do in our meetings, initially, you, me, and Miniver, is to
Yeah.
learn those basic functions that we have a coordinator that is equal to the team delegates, but in another place in the system, and then you are the admin, and
Yeah.
Minor is the support. So for those functions, there are plenty of there's a material from the old days I will look for. So the first thing that we understand what that is all about, and then in the process, I have this image that we will make a plan how we can work for building those criteria in the in these areas, neighborhoods where there is interest, And when
yeah,
I say interest, that there are people there that are willing to commit themselves to take part in this humanizing process through this way of organizing in the base AHF base organizing teams
yeah,
to move us forward. And so that is the creation of this condition that it can be established and 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 also starting to grow. There, I
yeah,
think we should have a criteria that when some area has as a minimum five such teams going with the conscious, in the way we want to have those councils going. At least five are for, more or less they are formed. They could be in some areas. There's two big teams, or there are variations. But this is a thought. And then that
yeah,
is another element. That is a new element. That is the new element. Then we need in the same area to have a organized collaboration with at least five uh, NGOs, or you have BSO based organizations,
mm,
some organized
yeah,
non-humanist organizations that are
yeah,
starting to move consciously, knowingly, with the humanists towards a humanist forum in that same area on this basis that we need to organize, not only humanists, but also other organized organizations, like-minded organizations. So this is
yeah,
it, because a move towards a humanist forum in an area, even though, I mean, it's not to make little of the humanist forums that have already started, and even it's not to, but it is only the endeavor to
yeah,
create that this will be in the place. The focus on those who live in that neighborhood or area or whatever, that they start to mind this thing of growing to a certain level where it is, the opportune, the favorable condition of starting moving towards a humanist forum, because as we have said, that we act in this under this heading, that we are in no hurry. We are in no hurry, but we are in a great, even life and death need as a human race to do everything well, do it, take care in every step, because it is very nice, this example that Silo, as I have told you before, that if we are aiming far, and now we are aiming at humanizing the earth in our little, small, humble way where we are, then uh, everything will depend on the initial aim. Like we're going to the moon, we need to have very good attention of the initial aim, because even the slightest error in that can carry us even far away from the moon in the long distance. It's not difficult to see it, but it is a good example. And this is an example that Silo used. So we are in no hurry, and if you think stress will help, forget it, because we want to do we want to go do everything in peace, force, and joy. And I remember so well in the heydays of building the humanist movement in Zambia. So we were going from place to place. We were doing seminars and so on. But then we may be going together from the seminar, whatever, and then we were very happy, and then we were singing together, the humanist uh, song, revolution we make, our minds are awake, we are human, it's all in our heart. So we were singing and having really a good time. And that is a very like an unmissable part.
You know
We
how
have
to
to
sing. You
feel.
know how to I like the part that you say that there is no hurry. We love to do things in peace, force, and joy.
Yes, peace,
uh,
force, and joy. Yes,
yeah.
because
Uh,
in a way, boredom is a violence.
mm.
Boredom is
Boredom,
but
boredom is somehow violence. Eh?
yeah, because I remember I was building the humanist movement in Britain, in Liverpool, and then was a great violence among the young people, young
Mm,
unemployed people, the
yeah.
young and yeah, because they they
Mm,
were bored, they had nothing to do, and they were really feeling shit. So they broke a
okay.
window, and did all kind of violence. So it's like not
Okay.
that is not not because we like it when we have fun, but it is also
Yeah, yeah.
part of our.
I have just shared with you a video. I've just shared with you a video of our projects we did on how to address violence against women
Okay,
in the
yes, yes,
community
yes,
using. Yeah, I've
yes,
shared it with you in the messenger, so you can have a look at it. And it's the very though we've done it in Luo, but there's
yeah.
subtitles in English, so you can also check on it.
Great, great, great. So I am now a proposal. Let's say
And Julius, have you ever come to Kenya? Did you
no,
one
no,
time
not to
came to Kenya
Kenya.
with Alex? You've not always been to Kenya.
I have never been to Kenya. Only I started to build the humanist movement in South Africa, in
In
Soweto,
South
in
Africa, okay?
Johannesburg. Yes, but then
Okay.
then I moved to Zambia for building the movement because it proved in Soweto, even though it
It
was
means that
really needed.
it means that Miniva, you've worked with him in person. You and Miniva, you've been in person. You've met in person.
Oh yes, yeah, from the first day. She was in the first group
You,
that I was working with to explain about the humanist movement, how we organized, and she was there on the first meeting.
uh,
Yes, yes.
okay,
Even
okay.
even 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 she, the story about her. Even she
Yeah,
was very impressed, very happy because he had a sewing machine, and she was sewing for her children and so on, and had always had the thought that, oh well, she wanted to, you know make her neighbor friends uh, to use the sewing machine, but she didn't dare, had never dared. because if
Okay.
she was doing that, they would think that she was placing herself higher because she was rich and owned a sewing machine. But she was very happy to know the humanist. Now she knows this was okay and even recommended, and you can start to organize where people come together and they provide everything good they can do. She can provide the help with people to use the sewing machine. Someone knows how to, raise rabbits or work with, batik, the cloth. So she was very very happy, and then and then for from 2001 to 2008
Yeah.
when we put for many years I went to Zambia two, three, four times a year, so that's another study. So
And
I
will you
think
also be coming to Kenya? Will you be coming to Kenya?
I don't I don't know about that. I don't know, but surely I don't know. But that would be very nice if it's for some reason could happen. But I don't know. But anyway, I propose, Edwin, that we stop the recording now because I think we have now not only a good video for Miniver to share since it's very clear that she has not had the condition to join us, but but can have
Um,
the video to also be even available for everybody because we have minded that we have recorded since we were simply explaining about this process and the organizational model through which we want to approach this project of the African Humanist Forum from the base. From the base, it should rise from the base. So I will stop
we
recording
should,
now.
yeah. We should rise from the base, and we should take it from the roots. The right word to use is we take it from the roots,
Yeah,
and
and even yes,
yeah, we
yes.
take it from the roots. We had some manure. We had some
Yeah,
fertilizers. So these are
yeah.
the things that we can use that peace, force, and joy, so that we can achieve what we want. So thank you for this meeting. It was a
Yeah,
nice one, and let's
yeah,
continue communicating via the chat. And make sure
yeah.
you watch that video that on the violence against women that we were trying to address using theater. So you watch it and you give me feedback. Will you watch and give me feedback?
Absolute. Give me the link after this meeting, and
I've sent you the link in the messenger.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
Yeah, the link,
even
the YouTube link,
resend it.
the
You can
YouTube link.
resend it.
I've just sent it now. So
Yeah, yeah.
check on the
Okay.
link in the YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I will do. So thank you very much, and this will be later used, hopefully, as a educational form in our educational video in our process. Peace force to
This
you,
was the
and peace force and
joy.
peace and joy to all of you that possibly will watch this video with me and Edwin. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.